everybody, welcome back to the Trading Post. It's me, Fred, and of course your boy Noodle. Tell him hi, Noodle. Yeah, you sniffing something, huh? You smell hamburger? Yeah, I made a little bit of hamburger earlier. Yeah, that's probably what you smell. Anyways, y'all, we're going to be doing Fred Files episode 12. We're going to be talking about the White Lady, the Hollywood sign suicide. All right? Y'all stay tuned, because little man's getting a little too daggone amped up here, and we got to kind of, figure out what we got to do with him before we get started back into this. Brief pause, and I'm going to be right back with you. You understand? We're going to take care of this. What you doing, bud? You licking me? Huh? All right, everybody, let's get into it, right? Like I said, this is Fred Files episode 12, The White Lady, the Hollywood sign suicide. Millicent Lillian Peg Entwistle, born February 5th, 1908, and lived until September 16th, 1932. She was a British stage and screen actress. She began her stage career in 1925, appearing in several Broadway productions. She appeared in only one film, 13 Women, which was released posthumously. Entwistle gained notoriety after she jumped to her death from atop the H on the Hollywood sign in September 1932 at the age of 24. Now, she was born Millicent Lillian Entwistle, as I said prior, February 5th, 1908, in Port Talbot, Glamorgan, Wales. She died September 16th, 1932, at the age of 24 in Los Angeles, California. Now, her cause of death was suicide by jumping off the Hollywood sign. Her resting place is Oak Hill Cemetery, Glendale, Ohio. Her occupation was actress. Her years active was 1925 to 1932. Her spouse was Robert Keith, married in 1927, but divorced in 1929. Now, her early life. Born Millicent Lillian Entwistle in Port Talbot, Glamorgan, Wales, to English parents, Emily Entwistle, nee Stevenson, in parentheses here, and Robert Symes Entwistle, an actor. She spent her early life in West Kensington, London. It is often reported that her mother died when she was very young, but there is no documented evidence to support this. There is, however, a last will and testament dated December 15th, 1922 in the Entwistle family archives, in which Robert Entwistle specifically stated the following. Millicent Lillian Entwistle is the daughter of my first wife, whom I divorced, and the custody of my said daughter was awarded to me. I do not desire my said daughter to be at any time in the custody or control of her said mother. Peg Entwistle reportedly migrated from Britain to America, sailing from Liverpool aboard the SS Philadelphia in 1916, and settled in New York City. However, documents and photographs made available by the Entwistle family for a biography state that Entwistle and her father were in Cincinnati, Ohio, and New York City in early spring 1913. This info is also corroborated by the Internet Broadway database and the New York Times, where Robert S. Entwistle is listed in the cast for several plays in 1913. In December 1922, Robert Entwistle died, the victim of a hit-and-run motorist on Park Avenue and 72nd Street in New York City. Peg and her two younger half-brothers were taken in by their uncle, who had come with them to New York and was the manager of Broadway actor Walter Hampton. Now, we're going to talk about Broadway. By 1925, Entwistle was living in Boston as a student of Henry Jewett's repertory, now called the Huntington Theater, and one was one of the Henry Jewett players who were gaining national attention. Walter Hampton gave Entwistle an uncredited walk-on part in his Broadway production of Hamlet, which starred Ethel Barrymore. She carried the King's train and brought in the poison cup. At age 17, Entwistle played the role of Hedvig in a 1925 production of Henrik Ibsen's The Wild Duck. After seeing the play, Betty Davis told her mother, "I want to be exactly like Peg Entwistle." Some years later, Broadway actress and director Blanche Yerka sent a note to Davis as King if she would asking if she would like to play Hedvig, and Davis sent word back that ever since she had known she would someday play Hedvig. And Davis sent word back that ever since she had known she would someday play Hedvig through the year. Oh, sorry, I repeated that. I apologize. Through the years, Davis said Entwistle was her inspiration to take up acting. By 1926, Entwistle had been recruited by the New York Theater Guild, and her first credited Broadway performance was in June of that year as Martha in The Man from Toronto, which opened at the Selwyn Theater and ran for 28 performances. Entwistle performed in 10 Broadway plays as a member of the Theater Guild between 1926 and 1932. Working with noted actors such as George M. Cohan, William Gillette, Robert Cummings, Dorothy Gish, Hugh Sinclair, Henry Travers, and Laurette Taylor. Her longest-running play was the 1927 hit Tommy, in which she starred with Sidney Toler, which ran for 232 performances and became the play for which she was most remembered. The play, The Uninvited Guest, closed after only 7 performances in September of 1927. However, the New York Times critic J. Brooks Atkinson wrote Peg Entwistle gave a performance considerably better than the play warranted. She went on to tour with the Theater Guild between Broadway productions, changing characters every week. Entwistle garnered some publicity, such as an article in the Sunday edition of the New York Times in 1927 and another in the Oakland Tribune 2 years later. Aside from a part in the suspense drama Sherlock Holmes and the strange case of Miss Faulkner and her desire to play more challenging roles, Entwistle was often cast as a comedian, most often the attractive, good-hearted ingenue. In 1929, she told a reporter, "I would rather play roles that carry conviction. Maybe it is because they are the easiest and yet the hardest things for me to do. To play any kind of an emotional scene, I must work up to a certain pitch. If I reach this in my first word, the rest of the words and lines take care of themselves. But if I fail, I have to build up the balance of the speeches, and in doing this, the whole characterization falls flat. I feel that I am cheating myself. I don't know whether other actresses get this same reaction or not, but it does worry me." Now, in early 1932, Entwistle made her last Broadway appearance in J.M. Barrie's Alice, Sit by the Fire, which also starred Laurette Taylor, whose alcoholism led her to 2 missed evening performances and refunds to ticket holders. The show was canceled, and in the aftermath, Entwistle and the other players were given only a week's salary, rather than a percentage of the box office gross, which had been agreed upon before the show opened. That's sad. You know, they're getting cut out of their pay, man. And that's bad because that's back in, that was in early 1932, right? So that's back in the Depression, y'all. You know, you got to understand, like, these people, they're working hard and they ain't getting paid. Man, whoever was running that show, lucky to get knocked in the head. Anyways, let's go ahead and continue on, you guys, okay? We're going to talk about Hollywood. Now, by May of 1932, at the depth of the Great Depression, Entwistle was in Los Angeles with a role in the Romney Brent play, The Mad Hopes, starring Billy Burke, which ran from May 23rd to June 4th at the Belasco Theater in downtown Los Angeles. Flo Lawrence, theater critic for the Los Angeles Examiner, gave the production a very favorable review, stating, "Belasco and Curran have staged the new play most effectively and have endowed this Romney Brent opus with every distinction of cast and direction. Producer Bella Blao has developed the comedy to its highest points. Costumes and settings are of delightful quality, and every detail makes the production one entirely fit for its translation to the New York stage. In the cast, Peg Entwistle hold first place in supporting the star Billy Burke, and both gave fine, serious performances. Miss Entwistle as the earnest young daughter, Geneva Hope, of a vague mother, and presents a charming picture of youth. After the Mad Hopes closed, Entwistle won her first and only credited film role with Radio Pictures, later RKO. 13 Women stars Myrna Loy and Irene Dunn in a pre-Hays Code, high-budget thriller produced by David O. Selznick and drawn from the novel by Tiffany Thayer. Entwistle played a small supporting role as Hazel Cousins. It premiered on October 14, 1932, a month after her death, at the Roxy Theater in New York City, and was released in Los Angeles on November the 11th to neither critical nor commercial success. By the time it was re-released in 1935, 14 minutes had been cut from the film's original 73-minute running length. In 2008, Variety magazine cited 13 Women as one of the earliest female ensemble films. Now, her personal life. This is going to be brief because it doesn't really say much about her personal life. In April 1927, Entwistle married actor Robert Keith at the chapel of the New York City clerk's office. She was granted a divorce in May 1929, along with charges of cruelty. She claimed her husband did not tell her he had been married before and was a father to a 6-year-old boy, Brian Keith, who later became an actor. Now we're going to talk about her death, okay? On September 18, 1932, a woman was hiking below the Hollywood sign when she found a woman's shoe, purse, and jacket. She opened the purse and found a suicide note, after which she looked down the mountain and saw the body below. The woman reported her findings to the Los Angeles police and laid the items on the steps of the Hollywood police station. Later, a detective and 2 radio car officers found the body in a ravine below the sign. Entwistle remained unidentified until her uncle, with whom she had been living in the Beechwood Canyon area, identified her remains. He connected her 2-day absence with the description and the initials P.E. written on the suicide note, which had been published in the newspapers. He said that on Friday, September 16th, she had told him she was going for a walk to a drugstore and to see some friends. The police surmised that instead she made her way to the nearby southern slope of Mount Lee to the foot of the Hollywood sign, climbed a workman's ladder to the top of the H, and jumped. Now, okay, the cause of death was listed by the coroner as multiple fractures of the pelvis. The suicide note read, "I am afraid. I am a coward. I am sorry for everything. If I had done this a long time ago, it would have saved a lot of pain. P.E." Entwistle's death brought wide and often sensationalized publicity. Her funeral was held at the W.M. Strathers Mortuary in Hollywood on September 20th. Her body was cremated and the ashes were later sent to Glendale, Ohio for burial next to her father in Oak Hill Cemetery, where they were interred on January 5th, 1933. Now, I got some other stuff here, guys, I want to kind of brush up on. It's going to make the episode a little bit longer, but this really wasn't too long of an episode due to what I got here. In 2014, roughly 100 people marked the anniversary of Entwistle's death by gathering in the parking lot of Beechwood Market in Hollywood to watch 13 women on an outdoor screen. Proceeds from a raffle and from food and beverages sold at the screening were donated to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention in Entwistle's name. Now, that's a good cause, you guys, you know. The thing is, a lot of people, and there's there's a good amount of people that, that have suicidal thoughts and tendencies and stuff, and if you know anybody, or you possibly are one, you might want to think twice about that. There's people out there that love you, that care about you, that they want to see you succeed, and as much as it may pain you to want to talk to somebody, or tell them about what's got you down, do it. Just do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth, like this poor woman here. She's only 24 years old. She had a long life ahead of her, and just threw it away. And while we're speaking on that, I do want to touch up on this, and I'm going to try to edit this in and put the number and the name on here. But the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is 1-800-273-8255. So if you or anybody is having issues or something like that, give them that number. Let them call. They can talk to a professional, and get some help for themselves. That's what this channel's about. We support each other. You know what I mean? Help each other out. Give them a hand up. So, anyways, that's that part. Okay, I wanted to get that clearly said. But we're gonna do some little notes here that I have. I kind of got some sideboard notes here. Here's a note. It says, so it was said her uncle's house on Beechwood Drive was literally in the shadow of the Hollywood sign, to give you perspective. Okay, it was close enough, to where it was in the shadow. Also, it is said she spent most of her summer of 1932 hanging around the house waiting for a phone call that never came. The likely cause of her depression and anxiety. Also, according to legend, a letter to Peg arrived the day after her death from the Beverly Hills Playhouse. She was offered the lead role in a play about a woman driven to suicide. Ain't that a shame, y'all? The day after she did that. That's sad. That's really sad. Another note here that I got is, it is said that she still haunts the vicinity of the sign to this day. Okay, people, hikers, stuff like that, they end up seeing her. I'll give you a couple instances here, but this one here's just some factual information I'm going to throw out for you. In the 1940s, the H fell down the hill. It's been said that she did that. Okay. Also, the scent of gardenias. There was a lady, a witness, okay, and she said that she smelled the scent of gardenias very strong. She had a strange feeling, and she seen the ghost. She said witness said it was like, she said, and then there was this woman with blonde hair, and she seemed to be like walking on air. I immediately ran the other way. Okay, and that would be Megan Santos's eyewitness account from 2013. Okay, in 1990 there was a couple walking that seen a 1930s a woman in a 1930s get up. She was a blonde, and then she vanished. Freaked them out. Then there was another one here. There was 3 kids that sneaked in to climb the sign. One fell. Then whenever they fell, they ended up seeing the blonde woman when they was coming back to try to meet up with the other 2 kids. You know what I mean? Also, there's like the billboard sign, the Hollywood sign. This is a fact here for you guys. This is another thing to tell you about. The billboard for the billboard was made for Hollywood Land Real Estate. Okay? The original sign said Hollywood Land. In time, after that real estate, after it dissolved or whatever, they end up taking the land off of it and left it as Hollywood and just left it there. But 1944, the city bought the sign. That's what it was. In 1944, the city bought the sign. Then the Depression hit, city bought the sign. Depression. There was, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going off of what little notes I scribbled here, you guys, while I was trying to catch certain things on some things. But it says Depression. I don't know if the Depression went through 1944. I have to look that up. That's sorry about that. My bad. Anyways, it also says 1978. A new sign was built. So they tore the old original one down. Evidently, whatever they did, recycled materials, whatever. But they built a new sign in 1978. So I thought that was pretty cool, interesting facts. I'm sure there's probably far more eyewitness cases of the ghost of Peg Entwistle. I'm certain there's got to be probably hundreds, if not thousands of them, because it's been a long time. A long time she's been there. So she's probably restless, as generally they say ghosts must be, and I assume that they just probably play on a loop. It's like I don't know how that would work. Maybe it's the last moments of your life. Maybe you have unfinished business. There's a lot of theories. I mean, we could theorize all day long, but I don't know if that's a good idea, because then you're going to go down rabbit holes, and who knows where you're going to come out at. You know what I mean? But this is a heartbreaking one. It is sad, and like I said, if you have anybody that you know of that's depressed or has anxiety, that's you're concerned about, give them that number. Let them know. Just let them know that you're there for them, man. Say, hey, I got you. You need to talk. You want to chat, get some things off your chest. Come on, let's do this. All it takes is to say a word. That conversation could save their life. So keep that in mind. And like we say on this channel, live, laugh, and love, because tomorrow isn't promised to anybody. All right, you guys? And we're going to go ahead, and I'll see you guys on the next one. All right? I hope I can do you guys very well this month. I'm trying to cram out as much as I can for this month. Okay? I've had ghost stories already I've done. I did me and Noodle captured Bigfoot already. So, if you ain't seen it yet, check it out. You might like it. I'm going to do some more. I got some things lined up here that I do want to touch up on. And I'm going to tell you what other episodes we're going to be doing. I'm going to give you a sneak peek of what we're looking into. I'm going to probably do the Hound of Mons. Okay, we're going to be doing that. We're going to be the murder of Black Dahlia. We're definitely going to do the real Leatherface and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We're going to do that. We're also going to do the real life Silent Hill. I'm going to try and cram these in, you guys. I have to do the research for these still yet. So I got to do research, editing, and then push it out for you guys. So I'm working extra hard for you guys. Okay? But we're going to do the real life Silent Hill. We're going to do Jack the Ripper, H.H. Holmes, the American Jack the Ripper. And then we're going to do, I was thinking the Bennington Monster, maybe. Maybe even Ghost Warriors. We might do those. I'm going to do some episodes of Badass. We got one that I already got written down. I'm going to go ahead and start doing the recording for that here before long. I got one that's called The Ghost of Vietnam. He's a badass. Okay? You're going to want to check that out. We're also going to do Shadow People. We're going to do one on Shadow People, because I already got those notes done for that one. So I got 2 more episodes that we can record coming up here shortly after this, right? So we do got Shadow People. We got Badasses episode 3, Tad Tadina. We're going to do him. Then we're going to do Bass Reeves, which this dude is just straight up. There's no two ways to say it. He's a badass. All right. But We're going to try and do Bass Reeves, Ghost Warriors. I don't know. I was going to do Ghosts. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I got to try and cram all this stuff in, y'all. So be patient with me, all right? We'll see what we can fit in. Some of the other ones, I'm going to let you in on some of the other ones I was looking at. The Slender Man stabbing case, the real Wolverine, the real life Assassin's Creed. I might do some soldier stories. Admiral Byrd's expedition, Dyatlov Pass incident, Marilyn Monroe's murder, Princess Diana's murder, the Backwus, the King of Ghosts. I'm also going to be doing Guy Fawkes. And if you haven't heard that name before, you know who this is. This is the real life V for Vendetta. That's what that was based off of. This guy, Guy Fawkes. Okay, we're going to do that episode. We're going to also do the episode for the real life Freddy Krueger. So stay tuned. Okay, we're going to fit Freddy Krueger in this month. Okay, so that's one of the other ones for Halloween. The month of Halloween we're going to do. I also think I'm going to try and see if I can squeeze just one more in. I might do the real life Psycho. The real life Psycho. Let me notate that because I don't want to forget that. But yeah, we're going to try and do that as well, and we're going to get into that and talk about. Hey, a lot of this stuff's based out of reality, man. You know, that's what's crazy about it. This is what's insane. Like, until you start looking at stuff, like I'm just blown away by the stuff I've learned since I've been on this channel. Hey, I'm not too proud to say, hey, I didn't know. There's a lot I don't know. But you know what? You're never going to learn everything. But you can learn every day if you're willing to open your mind and try to learn. You know? Don't be closed-minded. Just, look into stuff. Find stuff, I mean, I want to do some more instructional videos is another thing too, you guys. I'm going to try and do this wood burning. I'm going to do a cutting board. I'm going to do wood burning on that. I still want to do the prisoner of war or / foxhole radio. Okay, it's been called both. I'll show you guys how to make one of those. We're going to do that. I may end up doing another cooking episode. Maybe we'll figure something good we can make. Cooking with Brooklyn again, right? Matter of fact, I still got to do some more what chaps my ass with Brooklyn. Okay, cooking with Brooklyn. We're gonna get him fired up and get him ready to roll. I'm sure he's got plenty to bitch about. What do you think about that, you guys? But anyways, I'm also going to do an instructional video on how to make your own bow, like archery bow. So you guys know, okay? I'm going to do an instructional video on that as well. And that's about it, man. I mean, for as far as what I can think of off the top of my head, I mean, we're going to do time travel. We're going to do the succubus. We're going to do Jinn. We're going to do ghosts. We're going to do the Jersey Devil, the Devil's Brigade, the Kraken, the Dragons, Dudleytown, Bennington Monster. And it's just some of the ones that's sitting in front of me. My God. But we got a ton, you guys. I probably have 1,500 different episodes, subjects that I have written down. I just haven't done the research because I go per case, because there's no way in hell you're going to do 1,500 episodes and do all the research for them in a short period of time, especially when you work full time. You understand? So bear with me, you guys. I know there's going to be times where I'm going to release more stuff in a given month or a given period of time than I am others. So just give me a little bit of a break, okay? I'm trying to put it out for you guys. That's what we're about, man. We're gonna have fun. So you guys, I'll see you guys on the next one. All right. So stay tuned. Like I said, live, laugh, and love, man. Tomorrow's not promised to anybody. All right. Bye.